after I got married to the movie king. The whole entertainment industry and the public outside the industry were shocked. And there were endless voices of pessimism. On a variety show, the host asked me to talk about my married life. I said, I can't even wear a skirt at home. My husband said it's inconvenient for doing housework. I have to be well behaved. Then my husband will give me food. Once we had an argument and I ran away from home. But he didn't even look for me at all. Netizens saw through the truth. A marriage in name only. It's so fake. They will definitely get divorced within 3 years. After the variety show was broadcast, the public opinion changed a great deal. You ran away from home for only 50 meters? You didn't even reach the gate of the courtyard. Is this called running away from home? Wearing a skirt that drags on the floor will only make the movie king clean up the mess behind you. A movie king has already called you, good baby, and told you to eat seriously. What else do you want? Shirley's combative statement rushed to the hot search. Netizens were angry one after another. Is it popular these days to deceive people like this? Welcome Shirley to our #loves so much. Inside the cozy small villa. The host winked at the camera. This is Shirley's first variety show recording after getting married. I think everyone must be looking forward to it very much. I also waved at the camera. Hello, everyone. I'm Shirley. The barrage scrolled quickly. Woo woo woo. Shirley. Long time no see. Are you happy after getting married to Mr. Ryan? Look at Shirley's haggard look with bloodshot eyes. How can she be happy? 1. Ryan doesn't like Shirley at all. Right? Can a forced marriage be happy? The host cleared his throat and said with a smile. Life before and after marriage must be very different. Shirley must have deep feelings about it. Right? Hearing this, I immediately nodded. It's really very different. My husband and I are actually very nervous at home. The host was stunned. Nervous? The barrage scrolled very fast. It must be that movie King Jong doesn't give Shirley a good face. Come on. He's alive and son-in-law. Who can be happy? A forced marriage is not so easy to manage. The host made an excuse. When there is another person in life, there must be a period of adjustment. But I believe that there must also be some sweetness in the relationship between two people that others can't experience. I thought for a while, that's true. For example, as long as I work seriously, my husband won't scold me. And if I'm obedient, I can have dinner. Damn, Shirley. Are you a nanny at home? Ryan is so amazing. He can't reign Miss Ning to be like this? Alas. This is the sorrow of a fake couple. 2 After the live broadcast ended, the host, sweating all over his head, invited me into the living room. There were already 2 people sitting in the living room. They were Chen King and Yu Bai, a very popular national couple. Shirley. Long time no see. Chen King had filmed with me before and took the initiative to come up and say hello. He asked in a low voice. Were those things you said arranged by the program team? There has been a heated discussion on the internet. I shook my head. They were my true words. Chen King was about to say something but stopped. Just then, my phone rang. When I picked it up, it was my agent wailing, my master, my grandma, my ancestor. Don't you think before you speak? I blinked. I'm just telling the truth. The agent let out a sigh. I beg you. Before Ryan arrives at the scene, don't open your mouth again. Otherwise, I don't know where to save your nearly broken marriage. I felt wronged, and didn't say a word. The agent said earnestly, but don't worry. Movie King Jong said he will take the flight tonight and arrive tomorrow. Eat good and wait for him and talk less. Okay? After hanging up the phone, Chen King came up. Is there anything wrong? I said in a sad tone. My husband will arrive tomorrow. He told me to be honest and not to talk randomly. 3 in the afternoon. The program started recording. Ignoring the camera beside me, I chatted with Chen King while washing vegetables. Shirley. Who usually cooks in your family? Is it you? Chen King prompted me. I think you're quite skilled. I nodded. My husband never cooks. Is Ryan so lazy in private? Does he really regard Shirley as a nanny? Seeing the barrage, Chen King quickly smoothed things over. Some people are born to be bad at cooking. Shirley is good at cooking. Mr. Ryan must like it. I smiled. Yes. As long as I don't cook. My husband will be unhappy and won't let me have dinner. Chen King was choked up for a moment, not noticing the barrage that was scrolling crazily. I continued to wash the vegetables, but my husband also said that as long as I'm a little bit obedient, he will give me food. Damn. Is it true? Is this physical abuse? Ryan looks decent in front of others, but he abuses his wife behind their backs. The barrage flew by, and Yubai quickly changed the topic. Let me show Shirley my skills, and make a squirrel-shaped mandarin fish. Chen King nodded repeatedly. Yes. Yes. Ubai's cooking is very delicious. He's dexterous and can also carve radishes into flowers for decoration. Hearing this, I exclaimed in surprise. I was very envious. Great. I can't do that. No wonder my husband says I'm as stupid as a pig every day. For I really don't understand Shirley's intention of participating in this variety show. Is she deliberately exposing the unhappiness of her own marriage? To be honest, when Ryan and Shirley got married, I asserted that it was the beginning of movie King Jiang's tragedy. But now I don't even know which of them is more miserable. Shirley Riot Rajic marriage. The topic rushed to the hot search, and the agent on the other end of the phone was in despair. Sister, you might as well take some medicine to poison yourself dumb for a couple of days first. I was puzzled. I didn't say anything wrong. The agent was in tears. Damn it. I really want to send you back to the Warring States period to be a political strategist. I was aggrieved. Why do you want to send me abroad and not let me come back? The agent. Early the next morning, another group of guests arrived. Hello, everyone. I'm Lucy I, and this is my husband Feng Hui. At the entrance of the villa, the young couple greeted us enthusiastically. Chen King greeted them with a smile. Hello, Lucy I. Your little dress is so beautiful. Lucy I, who was young, said with a grin, not really. I look at your and Sister Ning's beautiful photos on the internet every day. Sister Ning has a whole bunch of beautiful dresses. I'm so envious. I smiled slightly. Those are for taking pictures. I don't have many opportunities to wear dresses on weekdays. Lucy I was puzzled. Huh? Why? I tried to recall my husband's words. My husband doesn't let me wear them. He says it's inconvenient for work. Damn it. Is this for real? That's Shirley, the little princess of the Ning family. How could Ryan read her like this? You just believe what she says. Anyway, we have to wait for Ryan to come to find out the truth. Right? Ryan, the movie star. Open a class. How did you do it? Chen King came over with a laundry basket. What's the problem? Lucy I went over and chattered with her for a while, looking quite indignant. Chen King sighed and patted her. Every family has its own hard-to-read scriptures. Come on. It was Shirley who was so clingy and insisted on marrying Ryan in the first place. If you dare to marry, you should dare to bear the consequences. What's the point of playing the victim now? The barrage exploded, and hundreds of messages flashed by. I was in the kitchen preparing to complete today's task of baking cookies. While kneading the dough, I chatted. My husband generally doesn't let me eat desserts, and we rarely make them at home. My husband usually has nothing to say to me. If we have an argument, he usually says he gives me a chance to make up. If we can make up, then do it. If not, the opportunity will be gone. I slapped the dough on the chopping board and nodded with satisfaction. That's about it. 130 skis kink sex. This is my phone number. I'm a divorce lawyer. At first, I was firmly on Ryan's side. But now I think you're also quite pitiful. You two should get divorced quickly. Don't torture each other anymore. I was puzzled. Torture? No, my husband loves me very much. Terminal PUA. There's no hope for recovery. I tiptoed to reach for the food box on the high cabinet. No. I'm not being PUA'd. My husband really A warm body leaned against my back. The man's strong arm reached over me and took down the food box on the cabinet. The familiar woody fragrance instantly surrounded me. Husband? I turned around and was just about to meet the man's approaching lips. Subconsciously, I rubbed against them. Why did you come so fast? Ryan propped his arms on both sides of me and showed a half smile. If I don't come soon, netizens will move the Civil Affairs Bureau to our doorstep to urge me to divorce. 6 divorce? Why should we get divorced? I was completely at a loss. But then I remembered that Ryan and I were still quarreling 2 days ago. So I just said, oh, dryly. Ryan stood behind me and lowered his head slightly. His nose rubbed against my nape as he whispered, Wife, are you still angry? Of course, I was angry. I threw the dough heavily and said angrily, I've already said no. No, but you still want to mess around. I've been numb. All right. All right. Wife. Let's talk about the rest privately. Ryan calmly covered my mouth while looking at the camera. Don't be angry. Baby. Being angry will make you ugly. Is there anything that my noble VIP can't listen to? I feel that the couple has a good relationship. Was Shirley deliberately playing the victim when she said those things? Are they in a fake marriage? Is this CP worth shipping? I was so angry that my face and neck turned red. I wriggled out of his arms like a maggot and accidentally knocked over the stainless steel basin beside me. What's going on? What's going on? Chen King poked her head in, looking at Ryan and me in the strange posture. She said carefully, What were you talking about? Why did it get physical? I elbowed Ryan away. My husband thinks I talk too much and that I'm ugly. No. Was that what Ryan just said? She still calls him husband even when she's angry. She's really. I'm about to cry. 7 Chen King frowned slightly. You two should talk things out nicely. Ryan was a little helpless. I was just teasing her. Then he took a closer look at the sugar bag beside him and said to me, You can only eat half a piece of the baked cookie. Why? Ryan slapped my hand that was secretly adding sugar and glared at me. You're allergic to certain sugars and you don't care. Aren't you the one who gets red rashes? I brought you some xylitol cookies. I was unconvinced. I've checked the ingredient list. There's no what? Ryan pinched my cheeks with his fingers and shook them. Don't eat it. Otherwise, I'll post your photo with a face full of red rashes on the internet. So that's why the husband doesn't let her eat sweet things. Believe it or not. What Shirley said was actually the truth. I snorted angrily and shook him off as I walked out. Ryan smiled and rolled up his sleeves to take over the dough that I had half kneaded. Chen King was surprised. Mr. Ryan can make desserts? Ryan smiled. I can't cook. I can only make some soft cakes. Shirley likes them. Ryan doesn't cook. Well, that's what Shirley said. What I thought Ryan not cooking was lying on the sofa and playing with his mobile phone. What Ryan actually not cooking is diligently steaming cakes for his wife. Okay. Are you playing like this? Can't you see that it's all for show in the program? When Ryan refused to get married, it was the top-ranking hot search. He was forced to marry into the Ning family. How could he really like Shirley? Outside the kitchen, Lucy I sneaked up to me and asked, Sister Ning, did you two have an argument? I curled my lips and sighed. He won't let me eat dessert. Chen King, who had followed us out, obviously hesitated to speak. Ryan poked his head out of the kitchen and called to me. Good girl. Come and taste it. Without thinking, I said, No. Ryan, with his hands full of flour, stood at the kitchen door and said in a low voice, Are you really not going to taste it? I brought xylitol and dark chocolate powder all the way from home. Are you really not going to taste it? I sighed, propped myself up on my knees and stood up, and complained to the dumbfounded Lucy I. My husband is always like this. He always makes me do things I don't like. Lucy, I was silent for a while and said, Sister Ning, you've really mastered the art of language. I slowly moved to the side of the kitchen and said, Then I law. My waist was suddenly tightened, and Ryan dragged me into the kitchen by the waist. My back slammed against the door behind me. Looking at the handsome face in front of me magnified. My heart pounded. What are you doing? Ryan's nose rubbed against mine gently. Honey, you're so cold. As if we've never been in love. Eat no. Shirley, do you eat so well in private? Help. I'm a little into this. The rich lady, the big puppy. I pushed Ryan's head away from my shoulder and said seriously. I'm still angry. Ryan looked pitiful. Honey. I humbly offered the olive branch of reconciliation. Please accept it. If you don't, I'll be very sad. Wait a minute. This olive branch sounds familiar. Is it the one Shirley mentioned when she played the victim? I pretended not to hear it last time. Don't say it again next time. Okay? Shirley, there are more guests coming. Chen King knocked on the door outside. It seems to be your friend. I rubbed Ryan's head. Whether I accept the olive branch depends on your performance. In the living room, 2 more guests arrived. These 2 were unmarried observers. One was Stella, my sworn enemy in the industry. As for the other one, I looked at the woman in white dress and skirt and narrowed my eyes slightly. Zoe? Shirley. Long time no see. Zoe tucked her hair behind her ear. And her eyes passed me and fixed on Ryan, who had followed me out. Her voice became 8 degrees softer. Yu Chuan. Long time no see. Yu Chuan? Something's going on. Stella's smiling eyes swept among the 3 of us. And finally she greeted Ryan, whose face was slightly cold. Brother Zhang is so cold. Don't you even say hello when you see your ex-girlfriend? Ryan sneered. I don't know when I had an ex-girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend? It is said that Shirley snatched love by force back then. It seems that she snatched Zoe's love. A love triangle. A love triangle. What love triangle? Ryan doesn't even admit it at all. Okay? Xing Chen. Zoe tugged at Stella. Stella snorted and looked me up and down. Shirley, how could you bear to let Brother John come to the program? You watched him so closely before. I heard that you didn't even let him act in a play. Was that Ryan's nearly 1-year break? At that time, they hadn't got married yet. Right? No one dared to ask Ryan to act in a play for a year because of who? Shirley. How dare you play the victim here? Indeed. We had no choice but to come to participate. Ryan held my hand, looking calm. If it weren't for my wife wanting to come, I wouldn't be willing to be in the same space as this white lotus. 9 Yu Chu on Ryan, go away. Zoe forced a smile. Yu Chuan. You don't need to be like this. I know you have your hardships. Forget it. She withdrew her eyes and looked at me. Shirley, I sincerely wish you happiness. I also said sincerely, I think you sincerely come to make me uncomfortable. The smell of gunpowder was getting stronger. And Chen King came out to smooth things over. It's almost noon. Let's prepare lunch first. Zoe smiled and said, I'll help. I'm quite good at cooking. Brother Yuchuan praised my cooking when he was studying abroad. Ryan's face was expressionless. At that time, what I actually said was, it's okay. Don't do it again next time. This Zoe's way of speaking is similar to Shirley's. Does Ryan like this kind of people who speak strangely? Looking at it this way, Ryan is really different towards Shirley. It seems quite affectionate. Not like acting. Maybe there are other hidden reasons for his refusal to marry? I narrowed my eyes slightly and secretly pinched Ryan. Ryan immediately stood at attention. Baby. I swear we only talked once during the school exchange. I snorted and went into the kitchen to prepare lunch. Ryan, like a little follower, came over and helped me out enthusiastically. Baby, this dish has just been blanched. Be careful, it's hot. Good girl. Is this much chili oil okay? Wife, come and have a look. I don't know who the audience for their affectionate behavior is. But I'm definitely one of the victims. Stop talking, brother. Either I'm feeling a bit broken or just tired. Seriously. I'm not broken. Just stop talking, brother. I poured the chili oil slowly while holding Ryan's arm and muttered. After eating for so many years, you still don't know how much oil to use. Ryan lowered his eyes and took the opportunity, when there was no one around to kiss me, and said with a smile in his voice, "Honey, every meal you cook is delicious in a different way. So the amount of chili oil used must be different too." Enough. I said enough. Actually, I'm a human, just a bit ugly. I'm really tired of you treating me like a dog. 10 after lunch. The program group assigned a new task. We needed to pick the ingredients for dinner from the vegetable garden by ourselves. After the grouping was over, looking at Stella on my left and Zoe on my right, I felt that the program group was really malicious. Ryan and the other boys were going to dig radishes. They arrived at the vegetable garden early. There was also a water tanker by the field for easy cleaning. "Darling," Ryan called out while standing in the field. "There are potholes on this road. Be careful when you walk." I nodded and turned back to Zoe and the others, saying, "My husband told you all to be careful." "I'm not kidding. In the future, surely, you'll have your own channel." Ignoring the two pale faces, I turned back and continued waving to Ryan. "Honey, what do you want to eat tonight, Shirley? Get out of the way." Seeing Ryan's suddenly changed expression, I subconsciously looked back. No kidding. Friends. There was a mudslide in the farmland. I immediately ran towards the high ground, but tripped over something and directly slid into the field. "Shirley." Ryan was so frightened that his voice cracked. He rushed over all the way, stepping on the radish tops, and grabbed me at once. "Are you all right? Are you hurt anywhere?" Fortunately, the soil was soft. I patted Ryan and said, "No problem." "Ah!" A scream came from above my head. I subconsciously looked up and was almost blinded. Somehow, Zoe's dress was wet by water, and her undergarment was faintly visible. "You Chuan." Zoe covered her chest with both hands, her eyes full of affection. "Help me." Ryan didn't say a word. He pulled me back 1 step. 2 steps. Several steps. Zoe was stunned for a moment, and then her eyes were full of grievance. "You Chuan. I'm like this. Can't you even give me a hand? After all, I'm a girl. Ryan and his wife are a bit too much, right? I can't bear to see such a young lady getting soaked like this. But she's his ex-girlfriend. It's a bit, whether to help or not. Forget it." Zoe did it on purpose. If she hadn't moved forward, the water wouldn't have splashed on her at all. "It's not that we don't want to help." I held my breath. You know that it may not be water in that can. In some cans, there was nutrient solution mixed with urea. Colorless but smelly, which could be deadly without being noticed. Looking at Zoe's face gradually turning green, I said with difficulty, "You smell like stinky tofu that has been soaked in the toilet for 3 years. Then simmered until the juice is thick, and finally stirred with a can of fermented herring. It's not only disgusting but also a bit life-threatening." Because of the sudden incident, the task was suspended. Zoe, wrapped in a quilt from a local villager, stood at the edge of the field waiting for the car to pick her up. She looked like a spear smeared with feces. Everyone who saw her wanted to run away. "Does your leg still hurt?" I came to my senses and shook my calf. "My leg doesn't hurt. But my butt does a little." Ryan carried me firmly on his back and rubbed my buttocks under the cover of his coat. "When we get back, I'll see if I need to put some medicine on it." I immediately sounded the alarm in my mind. "Just applying medicine, right?" Ryan couldn't help laughing or crying. "Am I that much of a brute?" Only then did I feel relieved and whispered on his back, "You are." Ryan laughed when he heard this, showing a bit of naughty cynicism. Slandering me? As soon as I saw his expression, I knew he was up to no good. I quickly put my arms around his neck and kissed his side face several times. No. My husband is the best. Ryan snorted and slightly turned his face so that my kisses could land on the corner of his mouth. His eyebrows furrowed slightly. Darling. What brand of lipstick are you wearing today? It's a bit sticky on the mouth and uncomfortable. I wiped it for him with the back of my hand. Sister Ning. Brother Zhang. The program team has a conscience and lets us cook hot pot tonight. Lucy, I ran over from a distance. What are you doing? I didn't even look up. Oh. I just kissed him. And my husband wants to wipe his mouth. Lucy, Ryan sighed. The movie emperor puts his hand on his forehead. Shirley is really something. Shirley. When you kiss someone, don't say too much. Okay? Lucy, I should have also read the bullet comments. She quickly reacted. I see. You were kissing. Right? She also sighed. Brother Zhang. You're quite amazing. When the internet was scolding you like crazy, you never thought of clarifying once. I snorted. Clarify what? He hasn't even made an official announcement with me. Is there any need to clarify? Lucy, I was surprised. Really? You two didn't even announce your marriage? I immediately opened Weibo to show her. On the day of our marriage. Only I sent a Weibo post. I don't even know where he was. Oh my god. It's true. I told you so. A marriage in name only. Plastic. It's all fake. They will divorce within 3 years. Ryan listened to my non-stop talking. After a while, he carefully took out his mobile phone and handed it to me. Is there a possibility that on the day of our marriage, I hadn't applied for this Weibo account yet? 12 to judge a man's character. Let him date Shirley. If he agrees, marry him quickly. What if he doesn't agree? A normal person. You can date him. For dinner, the program team prepared a sumptuous hot pot. After we all ate to our heart's content, the PD took out a new program list: Super Night Talk. 2 unmarried observers would ask questions to the 3 couples respectively, which could be regarded as an exchange between the unmarried and the married. The questions for Lucy I and her husband and Chen King and his wife were all normal. One talked about the honeymoon trip, and the other talked about parenting experience. Until Zoe set her eyes on me. The room suddenly became quiet. Zoe looked at me. Although she was smiling, her eyes were cold. Shirley. Actually, I've always wanted to ask you, can a relationship first on others end well? Can the instigator enjoy everything snatched away without guilt? Edited. Zoe's question is so aggressive. All her gentleness today was in vain. I looked directly into her eyes, playing with Ryan's fingers while smiling. I don't know about others, but for someone like me, who is beautiful, rich, has low quality and questionable morals. Yes. Exactly. It's Ryan after all. It's just that poverty has raised my moral standard. Zoe was so angry that she was almost speechless. Do you think it's funny to say these things? What right do you have to change Ryan's life trajectory? What right do you have to destroy other people's lives just because of your momentary interest? Do you think it's easy to be with Ryan? I was both amused and angry. Only by being obedient can I have food to eat. I can't wear skirts at home. And I can't talk to outsiders when I go out. My husband either calls me a stupid pig or a stubborn donkey every day. And he even often wants to teach me a lesson. This is what I said. Ryan was completely bewildered. Just get used to it. Movie king. I had the same expression this morning. It's just your wife's angry talk. Don't make a fuss. Shirley's words have completed Ryan's anti-fans annual KPI. Seeing that the topic was turning into an enunciation of Ryan, Stella jumped out in time. Then let me ask Brother Zhang a question. Brother Zhang, there are a lot of speculations on the internet about your marriage with Shirley. I want to ask, what was your real thought when you got married to Shirley at the beginning? Was it really like what was said on the internet that you were forced to marry into the family? There was no need to ask. Of course not. I folded my arms arrogantly and waited for Ryan to answer. But Ryan, unexpectedly, was silent. Damn it. He was silent. 13I. Screech. Ryan's voice overlapped with the sound of me suddenly standing up and pulling out the chair. Wife? What are you going to do? Ryan was confused. I had so many things to say that I just sorted them out. Aren't you going to listen? I was silent for a while. Your skill cooldown time is a bit too long. I'm full. I'm going for a walk. I replied coldly. Ryan said, oh, and was reluctant to part. Are you really not going to listen? Don't you like to listen to me say sweet nothings the most? My cheeks started to feel hot. What do you mean? Are you saying that I only like to listen to nice words? I just won't listen. After saying that, I walked out of the villa without looking back. Then squatted in a corner of the yard. Took out my mobile phone and sneaked into the live streaming room. Shirley is just being difficult. No one can be more difficult than you. Shh. Shh. Ryan is about to speak. I don't want to say too much about the speculations on the internet. We got married. And we live our lives. We don't need to explain the process and results to netizens. Ryan's pupils were calm. And the corners of his mouth were gently curved. His calm and gentle words were transmitted through the sound collecting device. But one thing I must make clear. From the beginning to the end, when I got married to Shirley, I was aiming to be with her for a lifetime, to grow old together. I have only loved Shirley from the start. And I was willing to marry her. As Ryan was speaking, his eyes swept over the people present. His pitch-black eyes gave people a strong sense of oppression. The reason why I participated in this program is also that I hope everyone will not be so malicious towards Shirley, because of some people spreading rumors and deliberate misinformation. She is very nice. She will be sad and doubt herself when seeing those bad comments. I don't want to bring this kind of harm to her. Zoe's face was faintly pale. Stella saw this and hurriedly said, if it's really like what you said, then what was the deal with the refusing to marry hot search? Brother Jong. Even if you want to protect Shirley, you can't be so inconsistent. Ryan didn't even move his eyebrows. Each person can only ask one question. Stella choked. I'll add one more. Ryan stood up arrogantly. There is no such service. Whew. The couple I ship are a real couple. I don't think it's too much to say that Shirley saved the Milky Way in her last life. I still feel that there are hidden secrets. Ryan's attitude towards the refusing to marry incident is very subtle. Come on. Being able to get married for love has already defeated 99 of wealthy people. Satisfied. Very satisfied. I put away my mobile phone and squatted at the gate of the yard, waiting for Ryan to come to me. But until the recording was almost over. Not to mention Ryan. There wasn't even a hair. I was so angry that I stomped my feet and took out my mobile phone to call Ryan frantically. What are you doing? I ran away from home and you don't even come to look for me? Ran away from home? Is this 15 meters away from the villa entrance? Ryan was also shocked. Ran away from home? Didn't you say you were full and going for a walk? I was washing the dishes in the kitchen and stared at you for nearly an hour and wondered why you only liked that one place and didn't move. I sat down on a stone pier. I'll give you 30 seconds. Wife. Before I could finish my words, Ryan had already run out while trotting and shouting all the way. He suddenly braked and squatted in front of me. Didn't you say you were going for a walk? How did it become running away from home? I choked and decided to be sulky and let him guess by himself. But speaking of running away from home, Ryan had a sudden inspiration. He rested his chin on my palm and looked up at me, looking like he wanted to laugh but didn't dare to. When you were walking around in the yard in front of our house before, were you all running away from home? 14. Ryan's heart is really strong. Having a wife like Shirley. Even the Jade Emperor would have to call her sister. I think it's quite interesting. Living with Shirley must be full of joy. After reading the comments, I closed my mobile phone unhappily and kicked Ryan. Get down. Ryan closed his eyes and hugged me tighter. No. I want to sleep with my wife. I pinched his face to vent my anger and needed it. Do you think I'm especially funny? Ryan couldn't help but laugh a little and leaned over to kiss me. I think you're especially cute. You make me feel happy every time I see you. I'm always very happy when I'm with you. I pursed my lips. You speak so nicely. Ryan opened his eyes and looked at me seriously. Really? You know, at the beginning, I wasn't that open and frank person. I was not good at expressing myself and had a cold personality. It was your appearance that made me know that there are such interesting and cute existence in this world. It was you who made me happy every day and gave me the motivation to move forward, accompanying you to participate in this variety show. I just want everyone to know what kind of person you are in real life. Those rumors on the internet have nothing to do with you. Our marriage is very happy. You are my treasure. I was a little embarrassed by what he said and shrank into the quilt, only showing a small part of my face. You too. Ryan's eyes bent, and he moved closer again, pressing his forehead against mine. I'm what too? I buried my face and mumbled nonsense. You also make me feel very funny. Ryan pinched my face to make me look up and gently kissed my lips. Little stupid pig. That's not called funny. That's called loving you. I love you. I was almost burning all over and didn't dare to look at him at all. But being pinched on the chin and hugged around the waist, I had nowhere to escape. Ryan coaxed me in a seductive low voice. Isn't it? Yes. What is it? Wife? I want to hear it. I closed my eyes in shame. I love you. Ryan's breathing became slightly rapid. He leaned over and kissed my eyes, then slowly moved down until his warm and soft lips landed on mine, and his moist and hot breath trembled slightly as they intertwined. So good. 15 early the next morning. Lucy, I stared at my dark circles and was full of teasing. Yo. I tried to keep a straight face and lied. I didn't sleep well because I was angry. Lucy, I looked doubtful. Angry? Really? I nodded seriously. Really? Ryan said I was a pig and also said I was ridiculous. Lucy, I immediately said. Really? I don't believe it. After some joking around, the itinerary began. Today was mainly an entertainment session, and the location was the horse ranch not far from the villa. PD. Everyone can choose by themselves. You can not only ride horses, but there is also a shooting range over there. There are small tasks on both sides, and those who complete them can get a lunch coupon. Both Chen King and I chose to ride horses. After knowing that I was quite skilled, Chen King was very enthusiastic. A race? The urge to compete rose in me, and I was just about to accept the challenge when my hand was suddenly gripped tightly. Wife. Ryan hugged me around the waist, rubbed his chin on my shoulder. What about me? I can't do it. And no one will teach me. Am I going to be left alone? Wife? No one will teach me. Class is suspended. I'll go teach. I was about to say something when suddenly someone behind me said, why not come to the shooting range? Brother Yuchuan. I'm very good at shooting, and I can't eat you. Turning around, I paused slightly in my movement. Zoe was standing behind me with an S600 Itexus on her shoulder. The muzzle was pointing right at my chest, and she was smiling gently. I heard that Shirley also had a shooting license before. Let's have a match. Looking at the black muzzle, my feet suddenly became a bit stiff, and countless memories hit me like fragments. Zoe. Ryan took a step forward to protect me behind him, his face extremely cold. Put your gun down. Isn't Shirley from the Rifle Association? Why can't she even look at a gun? Zoe sneered. You're good at playing with men, but when it comes to guns, bang nah. Zoe's hand was empty. Before she could react, she felt pain on her forehead. She watched helplessly as the black muzzle of the shotgun was pressed against her eyes, and her voice trembled with fear. Ning. Shirley. What are you doing? I held the Snatch Test 600 Itexus and pushed it gently against Zoe's forehead again with a faint smile on my face. Not hiding my contempt. Not everyone can spout trash talk. Especially a scumbag like you. You really don't deserve it at all. 16 surely is a bit too much. Right? What if the gun goes off accidentally? Zoe is the one who is speechless. Okay? An ex-girlfriend always comes up to the young couple for no reason. Who wouldn't want to punch her if they saw her? First of all, I'm not a lesbian. But Shirley is really cool. It would be better if I could hold her hand and kiss her. Of course. I'm not a lesbian. Shirley. Are you crazy? Stella rushed out from some corner and pushed my gun away. Do you want to kill someone? Believe it or not. I'll call the police? Zoe also came to her senses. Covered her face and tilted to one side. I've already given Ryan to you. I won't compete with you anymore. Really? Given him to me? I took the opportunity to throw away the rifle and hid my trembling hands behind my back. Who do you think you are? Do I need to snatch food from your hands? Ryan happened to take a step forward at this time. Held my trembling hand in his palm. And his eyes were as cold as knives. Zoe. For the sake of you being a girl. I've always been sparing you some face. But since you don't want it yourself. Then I'll do as you wish. Whether you're an ex-girlfriend or trying to steal someone's love. Do you really think I don't know who spread those self-made and self-directed rumors? A cold light flickered in the depths of Ryan's tightly pressed pupils as he stared fixedly at Zoe's pale face. I, Ryan, have only had Shirley as my girlfriend from the beginning to the end. From college until now. My girlfriend is her. My wife is her. And in the future, the one buried in the same grave with me, will also be her. If I hear your disgusting delusions one more time, those dirty things you did in college will no longer be hidden. Zoe is not Ryan's ex-girlfriend at all. So there is no such thing as Shirley stealing someone's love? I feel that Ryan means that Shirley has been his girlfriend since college. But if so, why did Ryan reject the marriage proposal back then? And what on earth did Zoe do in college? Isn't she an ordinary civilian? I've been following this gossip since Shirley and Ryan got married. And I'm still nibbling on the rind of the melon today. This generation of netizens is no good. Because of this little incident. It was already afternoon when the tasks were completed. The director's team ordered hamburgers and called us over to eat. I walked slowly at the end. Looking listless. Sister Ning. What's wrong with you? Lucy, I frowned. You seem so listless. I shook my head and before I could speak. Ryan strode in from outside and supported me. The car is here. Let's go. Lucy, I was puzzled. What's wrong with Sister Ning? I smiled. I'm not feeling well. I'm going to the hospital. What's wrong with Shirley? Come on. If anyone should be feeling unwell, it should be Zoe. Brother John. Stella ran over panting. Looking anxious. Zoe is not in a good state. Can you go and see her? Ryan looked indifferent. If she's not okay, then go to the hospital. I'm not a doctor. Zoe already has a tendency towards depression. And you were so harsh to her just now. Now you don't even want to go and see her? Stella looked furious. If something really happens, who will be responsible? Shirley. This Miss Ning? Looking at Stella's tantrum-throwing appearance. I narrowed my eyes slightly. Are you trying to morally kidnap me? Fine. Then none of us will have an easy time. 17 Almost the instant Stella finished speaking, my legs immediately went weak. And I slumped forward limply. Shirley. Ryan's face turned pale at once. He grabbed me and gently patted my face with his palm. Baby. What's wrong? Don't be afraid. I'm here. Stella was also stunned and quickly backed away. I didn't touch her. I half closed my eyes and said weakly. I might be having an attack again. Zoe isn't feeling well either. Honey. Take her to the hospital together. Ryan paused imperceptibly upon hearing this. He looked down at me. And I quickly winked at him. What's wrong? Is Shirley okay? The director was also quite frightened. Ryan picked me up horizontally. Shirley had post-traumatic stress disorder before. We are very familiar with the doctors at the Central Hospital. As he spoke, he slightly raised his chin, indicating Zoe huddled in the lounge. His eyes growing darker. I heard that Zoe also has some signs of depression. Then let's take her to have a checkup together. Shirley actually had PTSD? What kind of trauma could a rich second generation like her have? I don't know if Shirley is sick or not. But Zoe definitely isn't. She doesn't even dare to get in Ryan's car. It's obvious that she has something on her mind. Friends, check out the kidnapping case of California's rich second generation on the cruise ship. Hurry! Shirley was once kidnapped and witnessed the kidnapper shoot and kill 3 people right in front of her. Outside the treatment room. The director was dumbfounded when he learned about the situation. Then when Zoe pointed a gun at her just now. She was in a very bad state at that time. I stopped all my work to be with her. And she has only gotten better in the past 2 years. Ryan's face was as calm as water. And his eyes were as sharp as knives. Let me be clear. If Zoe's actions cause Shirley to have another attack, then you need to consider replacing the civilian guest. The director wiped the cold sweat from his brow, and nodded repeatedly. It was Zoe who came to us first. Saying that she was your college classmate. So we just slandering my reputation. Spreading false rumors about my private affairs. Stalking me. Threatening me. And fantasizing about me. Ryan pronounced each word slowly. Every syllable carrying a bone-chilling cold like the north wind. I don't have such a college classmate. 18 Miss Shirley when she's not around. Is Zoe crazy? Pretending to be sick and making trouble for the young couple. When I learned that Shirley had PTSD, but could still snatch the gun and point it at Zoe's head, I became her fan instantly. The one who pretends to be sick is manipulated by the one who is really sick. Just thinking about it makes me feel good. I happily exited the Shirley is really sick hot search topic. There was a coolness on my lips. It was an apple that Ryan had peeled. Are you hungry? Have some to fill your stomach first. I took it with a smile. By the way, honey, how is Zoe? Ryan's eyes were slightly cold. She has had the examination 3 times and there's nothing wrong with her. But she insists that she is sick. I've never seen anyone waste public resources like this. I murmured, I see. Ryan rubbed my head. There is one last day of the program. The director asked if we want to go back to record. I nodded happily. Sure. Attention all units. Shirley is back. This is not a drill. The big-mouthed Shirley is back. Shirley. Are you okay? Chen King asked. I smiled. I had an examination. It's no big deal. The PD said. Not only us, but also the netizens are very concerned about Shirley's condition. So today our activity is to have a simple connection with the fans in the live streaming room. Super love connection. The 8 guests sat in a row. After greeting the camera, the live stream began. And the waiting fans rushed in all at once. And the barrage filled the screen instantly. The PD raised his hand. Okay. The connection begins. As soon as the words were spoken, the small window in the live streaming room scrolled with comments like crazy. All saying choose me. Choose me. Choose me. Okay. The first netizen. Jong. Ryan's dog? Facing Ryan's friendly smile. This netizen first spent 2 minutes passionately complimenting the movie Emperor with flowery words. And only in the last minute did he say something useful. Movie Emperor Jong. I just want to know. Are you and Shirley really in a fake marriage just for show? If not, how did the reject marriage hot search happen? If so, how about me? Although I'm not a rich second generation, I'm already urging my father to work hard. Good. Good. So filial to your father. Right? Ryan didn't answer immediately. Instead, he directly pulled me over and kissed me. Amid the screams all over the live streaming room, he calmly said, no matter how many times you ask, the answer is the same. I love Shirley. It's not a fake marriage. As for the reject marriage thing back then, he paused and then cheekily said, one person can only ask one question. Next. The second netizen quickly took over as expected. Then what on earth happened with the reject marriage? Hot search? Ryan. 19 I held back my laughter and answered for him. Because your movie Emperor Zhang fell in love with me at first sight. He wouldn't have anyone but me. So he flatly rejected the olive branch from the Ming family at that time. By the way, I blinked. Ryan and I met while studying abroad. At that time, he only knew my English name, S via Nedison, so he didn't know that S via Shirley? I laughed out loud. Yes. Shirley's journey of tricking her husband started even before marriage. The sky is blue. The sea is deep. And not a word from Shirley is true. Ryan, you've had a hard time all these years. After that, the questions in action were all kinds of things. Some asked about my physical condition. Some asked about Chen King, Lucy I and the others. Until Nedison, how is Zoe's physical condition? Zoe, who had been absent-minded all along, was stunned for a moment and said, "It's okay." Then Nedison laughed. "Actually, I recognized you at the very beginning of the show. You were quite famous back then. You won the King's Scholarship. And you even said at a party that you would use the scholarship to buy shoes for your boyfriend." Zoe forced a smile. "All in the past. I remember later you said your boyfriend didn't like them and threw the shoes away. Some people felt indignant for you, and went to squat outside his dormitory building. But unexpectedly it was Ryan who showed up." And Nedison was amused. At that time, Ryan was not famous yet. "Now I think you're so amazing. Your ex-boyfriend is Ryan." "No way? Doesn't Ryan have no ex-girlfriends? Wasn't he still playing baby?" "Who are you, with Shirley in college?" Zoe's face gradually turned pale. You must be mistaken." "It's not." The Nedison said. "It's possible to mistake others. But it's hard to mistake Ryan's face." "That's true. Wait. Friends. I have a very malicious guess. Isn't Zoe Ryan's Sasa Eng fan?" Ryan said that Zoe directed, acted, and talked to herself. "Isn't she the kind of hysterical Sasa Eng fan? Thinking that Ryan is her boyfriend by herself?" The Nedison continued. "There were a lot of people in our college who liked you back then. They all fought Rai and didn't know what was good for him. In the middle of winter, you were downstairs in his dormitory. But he didn't open the door for you. He threw your birthday present directly into the trash can. He didn't even sit at the same table with you when having dinner. And he even two-timed." Then the Nedison chuckled. "Of course Shirley is also very nice. But Movie King, as men, we should still be devoted to one person." Ryan smiled faintly and tightened his grip on my hand. "Thank you for your advice. But don't worry. My girlfriend is only Shirley. From the beginning to the end. I only want to be good to her." I mobilized all my contacts in England to dig out the gossip of King's College in recent years. "Friends, please look at the PDF. 20 After reading through the PDF, I just feel a chill down my spine." Zoe also posted her so-called relationship daily on Ins, all of which were secretly taken photos and stolen pictures. Help. She's so terrifying. To sum up, Zoe and Ryan were college classmates. Zoe has been fantasizing that she is Ryan's girlfriend. She has done everything that Sasa Eng fans do. And even things that Sasa Eng fans dare not do. Actor Zhang was in a situation where there was a pervert threat like this when he was in a relationship with Shirley. And he protected her so well from being harassed by the pervert. If this is not true love, I will stand on my head and eat shit. 10 bowls of it. What are you looking at? You're smiling so happily? A weight fell on my shoulder as Ryan leaned over, his head gently rubbing against my neck. I chuckled. Congratulations to a Nedison for being spared from eating shit. Has Zoe left? I asked. Ryan kissed me intermittently. Yes. She has left. I have already asked my lawyer to sue her. She will be very busy later. We should have sued her earlier. I muttered. Ryan reached out and stroked the ends of my hair, his voice low and hoarse. At that time, you had an accident. I couldn't care about anything else. I just wholeheartedly accompanied you. I turned around and looked into his eyes, and couldn't help but smile. You have always been with me. Ryan hummed. I have always been with me. I smiled gently. And suddenly felt extremely secure. As if standing under the strongest fortress. Honey. I called him. I love you so much. Ryan paused. Looking at me without saying a word. His gaze was calm and deep. Like a steady and peaceful cloud. Surrounding me. After a while. He took my hand and, just like at the wedding, gently kissed my fingertips. I love you forever. How should I tell them that there are also camera devices in this small hall? Sue, what? Let me see something good. Well, when I type out happy marriage for 100 years. No matter how many doubts I had about Zhongning couple before. They are all wiped out now. Happy marriage for 100 years. Speaking of which. Did they come to this variety show just to slap us in the face? Happy marriage for 100 years. I guess it's to get less scolded. Happy marriage for 100 years. Neither is right. I came to this variety show just to trick us fools into coming in and then slay us.